Welcome to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Abridged. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
I don't like Christmas.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please, don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
I have no interpersonal conflict, I just hate Christmas.
It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
I have a birth defect. Don't make fun of me for it.
Whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos.
I don't like Whos. Who are they?
Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town.
For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
And tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys.
And then, oh the noise, oh the noise, noise, noise! That's one thing he hated.
The noise, 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 noise! Then the Whos, young and old, who would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast and they'd feast and they'd feast, 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 feast.
Food waste. I'm on a diet. Snow! It's very healthy. For a Grinch, whatever I am, a Grinch. Healthy Snow.
They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
Roast beast has too many legs. It's gross. It's like a bug. I like bugs, but not fleshy bugs. It's big and gross. I like snow bugs. They're cute. They are made of snow. And they don't move. And I make them.
And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing.
And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And their singing's not good, and I have to hear it all the time. The acoustics on the top of a mountain are really quite good, especially when it goes right up here, right in my ears. I like Barbara Streisand.
And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing.
Why, I've put up with this for 53 years now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked.
Macaw! What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick.
All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found.
There's no reindeer here. This isn't the North Pole. There's a hill, tall. They don't work well on hills. They fly.
Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said,
I shall create life. I don't have the Necronomicon. I have a dog. I can use the dog.
So he called his dog Max.
Max!
I am Max! I am a dog! I am here for you! Then he took some red thread.
This is not red. The narrator is lying to the audience again.
And he tied a big horn to the top of his head.
I'm a reindeer!
Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max.
Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up!
And the sleigh started down, toward the homes where the Whos lay snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air.
It's very dark. I can't see anything, Max. Help me!
All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care.
Sleep peacefully, you little troglodytes. I'm gonna steal your stuff.
When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fists. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch.
He got stuck only once, for a moment or two, and he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. What a tacky house! My cave is much better than this. All my Barbra Streisand posters, much more refined. With the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present.
Broken now.
Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums.
We're low on budget, we're gonna do all that in post. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast.
Disgusting. Who would make this disgusting trash?
He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast.
Ah, roast beast. Delectable. And articulate. Good.
He cleaned out the icebox, as quick as a flash.
Clean as a whistle.
Why, that Grinch, he even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch,
I'll stuff up the tree. Non-traditional, but I'll work with it.
The Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound, like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "What you doing?"
But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick? He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick.
A lie, yes, perfect. Nothing. Hold on 1 second.
Why, my sweet little tot, there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. There, I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed.
Ah, air, lemon scented, and wet. Here you go.
And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and he stuffed the tree up. Ooh. Then the last thing to go was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar, and on their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire.
And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. And he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
This is the song part of this normal one, right? We go, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch," which is really rude to me, honestly. I'm not that mean. I mean, I just live on a hill. You really are a heel. No, I'm the hero of the story. Follow me the whole way. I don't like this song, actually. It's kind of rude to green people. And I'm gonna go now, so you keep watching, I guess.
It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still abed. All the Who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with the presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings.
3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet.
Could have picked a smaller mountain. No, Mother said this one was available. It's cheap. It's free, actually. No one goes up mountains that often.
He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Poo-poo to the Who's.
As he was Grinchishly humming.
They're finding out now no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. And all the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, "Boo-hoo!" That's a noise,
Grinned the Grinch.
that I simply must hear.
So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear.
And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow.
Quiet. Oh, it's less quiet now. I can hear something. Is it crying?
But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so. But it was merry. Very.
That's the wrong noise, you idiots.
He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing, without any presents at all.
He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another,
It came just the same.
and the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow,
Keep stepping on my food.
stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so?
Came without ribbons. Came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore.
Very sore all over from standing in the same spot for 3 hours, apparently. But okay. Oh, my head! My puzzler is sore. Why are they still singing after 3 hours? Go home! It's cold! I'm standing in snow, puzzling!
And the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Oh! Duh! That makes sense.
Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say, that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
That's my heart for the audience. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight,
My chest was fine with a small heart. Christmas!
he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast.
Calmly. And I brought back your food. Just this, I ate the rest of it.
We're here with our presents again! We were just here! I'm confused!
And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
Ah, the roast beast. I'll carve it myself, because I'm good now. Yeah! Get rid of it!
Thank you for joining us for How the Grinch Stole Christmas Abridged.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us on How the Grinch...
Here's a cut of my mixtape. I made it last weekend when I was really, really bored. And Max was gone again. Poker every night, Max. Why?
Thank you for joining us on How the Grinch... God damn.
I like to eat snow, as established in the first scene we were in. I've been converted to Christianity.
I'm not doing that.